Got it. Okay, so rehab again was HVAC, tubs and showers. Go ahead one more time, really quick. Okay, got it. How much? I mean, roughly how much money do you think you have to still put it in to renovate it to finish it? Okay, 50 to 60. And what was the ARV on this one? When you 330? Got it. Okay. And then you owe 200. Okay. So if we okay, got it. So it's a little bit again, I tend to be really conservative on our California deals just because the market's a little scary for me. But do you think yeah, I'm just wondering, I mean, I just don't know how much cash are gonna be able to get you out of it. But I mean if it was just a matter of us taking over your loan and finishing up the flip, is that something you'd be interested in? I'm sure you'd love to get some cash out of it, but got it. Okay. And how much are the monthly payments on it, roughly?
18, 19.
And is it a hard money loan or do you actually do like a construction loan? Okay, so it's probably like 12, 13, 14%. What company did you do it through actually? Kiavi, I know those guys. I know those guys really well. Okay. Yep. I'm part of Collective Genius and I know their CEO or Ray really well. So, okay, well that could be good because we could potentially step into that, finish it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just be honest with you. It's just based on the ARV and not being a whole lot of room. The only I think way we could do it is if we could just step in and step into your loan, let us go finish up the flip and do our best, right? It could be risky, and as you know, it's like it can be risky hopping in middle of the job because sometimes like we have to redo stuff, but you just you know what I mean. It's never clean when you start in the middle or when you have to pick up after somebody else versus if it's like gutted and you just know what you're looking at. You know what I mean? But I'd still love to help if I could, but I don't want to waste your or my time if that's not going to be helpful for you. But at least we could take it over and finish flipping it.
No.
Okay, that's totally fair. Okay, well, good. Well, let me what I'll do. Why don't I do this? I can send you an LOI, just a letter of intent, kind of summarizing what I think we could do, and then yeah, and then at least that, and then you can kind of sit and soak on it. But at least you'll have something in writing you can kind of refer back to and help you make a decision. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Angela?
Now, yeah, that's fine. Now, what about the, I think he gave you 3, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. You want to give me the other one real quick?
Okay, so there's one that, well, here's what I want to find out. I have 2 other properties. Another one's in Ridgecrest. It's been on the market. It really needs to be, it's on the market, but it needs to be finished up. They started, and it wasn't a flip.
What's the address of that one? Sorry to interrupt you.
1407
West Burns. Okay. We do, yeah. I do that actually very often if there's enough money in it. Like just that the first one, there's probably not enough meat on it, but this one, okay, I'm looking at this one right now, West Burns. Okay. Yeah, Ernie's got it in here. Okay. So the I got the notes. PITI is about 1709. Balance is around 228,000. Okay. What do you think the ARV on this one is once it's fixed up? So you're an agent. So it sounds like you're an agent and a flipper. Sorry, just to clarify.
Yes.
Okay. And did this one you flip, or did you just try to like list this one as is? Oh, got it. Oh, got it. What do you? Okay, yeah. This is definitely something. Yeah, I know what you're doing. I know what you're saying. We could totally do that. Because how much? What do you think this one would sell if he had finished off the project and it was like ready to get financing from like an FHA buyer?
Finish it up. You probably could be at the 280. Low enough to.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so the tricky part is if you can't move it at 250, I mean, if it's literally just us finishing the flooring, we could definitely do that. But I mean, or I guess what is this? What do they owe on the property? Oh, you know what? I lied. I have it. Sorry, he gave it to me. It's 228. Okay, so if they owe 228, okay. So yeah. So what I would say is, man, again, I just don't see us being able to get them. It's kind of like the first one you gave me. Like, if I could take over their mortgage at 228, And honestly, based on where they're at right now, they're probably not going to get any money anyway, right? Because by the time they pay you, even if you like, so it's not selling at 250. Let's say that you got an offer at 240. I'm just doing math, right? And what are they going to pay you guys? 5% commissions or 6?
Well, it depends on if they're, you have a buyer and seller. If
Well,
you just have one, then it could be, just produced.
what if it's just okay? But I'm just thinking. Let's assume both, right? So 94. I'm going to take off 6%. So that's 225, and they owe 228. So basically, they'd have to bring money to closing. Are they? Do you think they're ready to bring money to closing? No. Sorry, and I'm just trying to do. We wouldn't do any commit, or I mean, I would make sure. I was trying to make sure you're taken care of, but I don't need to be paid. But I'm just trying to figure out numbers. Okay, long story short, sounds like if this seller could just get that thing gone and didn't have to bring any money to closing, I'm assuming they would be happy to get out from under it.
I think we was estimating they would probably get 15.
Okay.
So if you don't have to pay one or, a little bit less, then that will be something, and they could, still be it without coming in.
Okay. So what I would recommend here is like we just take over the loan right where it's at. And this is kind of the creative part, right? Is we take over the loan at 228. I want to look at it. The only challenging thing is going to be I wouldn't be able to get any cash to the seller, but we would cover closing costs. But I'll be honest, it's going to be hard to pay an agent just because there's not a whole lot of room. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we could work on or do you have to get paid? Or maybe if we do other deals, if you get paid on this one, would this be one that we could just buy outright? I'm just, you know what I mean? It's hard to pay an agent when it's so thin on this one. What do you think though? Yeah. So good question. I do that all the time. Like if you bring me like a smoking deal, I would always pay you. Like if this house, you brought me this house at like 175,000 I was buying it for, I would pay you 3% all day, right? Because we'd have a good deal. But on these ones, we just have to sometimes get creative on these deals where it's kind of thin and the profit margin's a little lower. But for example, on this deal, what I do is I would take over the loan and I would keep it as a rental. And because I think I could probably, if the PI, what do you think this would rent for? I see the PITI is 1709. How much would that house rent for if we finish the flooring?
I'm sorry, I have to look and see right now.
That's okay. It's a agent later. Okay, got it. But I'm just looking at the size of it. If it's a 3.2. Okay. And is it only flooring, or what else do you think needs to be done to that house before you could rent it out? And is it flooring like literally not in there, or is it just, I see the one room that's got that kind of like, I don't even know what you call it. It's almost like it's not tile, but it's maybe linoleum or something. Okay, got it. Yeah, so here's my thought on this one. If you could work with this on the commission, I think we could help your client and take over their mortgage and at least get them out from under it so they don't have to bring money to closing. But it's just going to be a little bit thin but I'm hoping we could do some other deals together and you get paid on those ones and would make it worthwhile. But you don't have to answer that, but does that seem reasonable or worth looking at?
Yeah, that would be good if we could. And then,
Okay. I love it. Was there a third one? What was the address of that one? Two 554. Yeah. Yeah. Olive, you said, or two? Let me pull it up. 2554 Olive Drive. Is it Palmdale, California? Okay. 2554. Okay. Yeah, I got that one pulled up. I see what you mean. It's a little condo. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that one.
So this one.
Okay. What do you does she own it free and clear, or what's the? Yeah, I do see one other one. Looks like unit 171 was pending potentially at 284. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so so a couple options here. I mean, for her, there's probably no way, I'll just be honest with you, save your time. There's no way I could get her all her equity out unless she wanted to sell that thing for like I don't know, like 70%, like 70% of 280, which would be, let me see if I do that, 0.7 times 280. That'd be like a 196. Unless like I could get her some of her cash out if she wanted to get, she would take a lower number at like 196. But I mean, how much cash does she need out of it? I guess.
Well, she has to.
And when I would want to take over I would leave the loan. I guess and that's just how we do a lot of our deals is leave the loan in place, and we would just take over payments because it's just the more cash I got to put into it, the tougher the less we can pay, right? It's just to make it profitable for us, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you just take over the payments.
Bingo.
That's okay.
And that's like on 1407. 1407 makes more sense because there's no equity, but I see this lady has some equity. But yeah, I mean, if you want to check with her and be like, how much cash does she need out now? Because maybe if we just give her some cash now and then give her the rest later, we've done that before and that works good. It's all negotiable and we can just play with numbers, but like the more, this is what I would ask her is the more I have to give her, the more the cheaper we're gonna have to, the bigger discount I got to take on the house, right? Like if she could if all I did was take over her payment, I could get her 280, but I couldn't give her any cash down, right? Because I'm looking at it as, hey, I would turn it into a rental, and as long as I can rent it out for more than that's how I make money, right? But does that make sense? So if I could and then we put like a 5-year balloon on it. That way she doesn't have to carry this for 30 years. Like within 5 years, I'd refinance it or sell it.
Okay, and then she would get the rest of her equity when?
Yeah, within 5 years. That's our average, right? I've done some as short as 3 years, but the safer bet for me is 5 years. Yeah, and essentially, and that might be the offer, right? And I could put this together in an LOI as well. Sounds like I'm going to send you an LOI on the other ones, but I could put an LOI together on this one and say, hey, we'll pay you the full 280 or whatever you want, and then just let us give you the difference between 100K and 280. So it'd be 180,000 we give you in 5 years, right? That could be one option, but we could play with that offer, right? If she's like, no, I need 10,000 or 15,000 now, like we could do that. I just have to adjust the price a little bit on the back end.
She's probably looking at it.
Okay, go ahead.
738 Trixis.
How do you spell that?
T.
All right, it's a different one. Trixis. And what's the city? Okay. Oh, there it is. 738 Trixis Ave, Lancaster. Okay, I see this one. Okay. All right. Yep. See, you got this one listed. So this one's listed 470. Okay. And you guys been on the market for 45 days. Okay. Got it. They just had a faucet. You said they had the faucet leak and just there was some water damage, or what happened? Okay. Ooh. Okay. Got it. And how much do you know what he owes on this one? Okay. Yeah, why don't you just, if you want to text me and Ernie, I'm working with Ernie on this. If you want to text me what they owe on that one, and it's the same sort of deal, right? Like if man, it's just, I could put it, it's just hard to go put a bunch of money into it unless we feel like I could sell this thing for, I mean, what do you think if it was all fixed up, it would sell for in the kitchen and everything was done? Yeah, that sounds good. This is the one where I would probably think about our kind of partnership method or structure where I go in there, fix it all up, then we'd sell it, and then when we sell it, the loan gets back for the money I put in, and then we just profit share after that. You think they'd be open to something like that? Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Let me okay. Let me go look at this. Yeah. So let me work with Ernie. I'm gonna try to get you 4 different LOIs and then give us some feedback and we can kind of keep working back and forth on these. Does that sound good? All right. Hey, thanks for your time, Angela. Appreciate it. Okay. You bet. Bye. Okay, Ernie, let's work back through this thing. So on this last deal, we need to look at this. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Dang it. I should have been doing that. But let me share my screen now. Here on Riverside. And then I want you to go make these I want you to put together these LOIs. And Judith on my team can help you out if you need. Or I'm trying to think of who else, or maybe, yeah, just let us know. I'm not sure how you can use our template, and I would put our company name on it. So this one on Trixis, we need to, if I know her loan amount, what we do is we go into the Revive calculator. I'll actually give you this. Let me see who else on. Okay, look, yep, this is the one I've been sharing with everybody. So here's what we do. We just go in here, go make a copy. Okay, and then we put this property in here, and then we go pop in this address. Let's go back. Okay, so we'll put in the address here. Let me share this with you, Ernie, in case you don't have it. My man, Ernie. So let's say that she owes, this is the big question mark. I'm just going to leave it 45. We don't know this, right? This is something I'm going to highlight in red. You got to figure this out for me, okay? Rehab, she said it needs cabinets. Let's go ahead and put 100,000. I don't know. But I want to build in this is where we're going to build in a margin to make sure this deal makes sense for us. Holding costs, closing costs, sale price. Okay, so this is where she said it sounds like it's going to be 480. And then, yeah, and then you see how it automatically calculates, right? It just adds 20,000. So this is kind of the lower end. And then we show them the higher end, okay? And then what we show her is this how much she would make, right? So the rest of this is all auto-calculated, but we need to know her loan amount, and all the rest of this is just all. And then we would always go in here, and I like to kind of put in the work scope, right? So this is cabinets, etc. Right? We need to go figure out some of that. So fill this out for her based on that loan amount. Then we can make her an LOI, and Judith can help you with the Revive LOI. But we're going to want to make sure we build in at least a $50,000 margin on this, on the rehab, and then we'll profit share with her on the back end. And then we can play with this, right? So let's just say we might want to give her 90%, right? I like to put but it depends on her loan amount, right? If her loan amount is only 45,000, it'd be here. But let's say her loan amount is 100 or 245 or 255,000. If it was 255, then we maybe need to go in here and adjust this to like 0.8 to make sure we have a little bit of profit margin. So anyway, it all kind of depends on their loan amount. So play with this. And this is a Loom video on how to do this further. Okay, so that is that deal. So now let's look at Wes Burns on this condo. Let's just make them an LOI, a very simple one where this is an actual condo, but I would offer her basically, she owes 100K. Judith can help you on this one, but basically use one of the LOIs. And I would just say, hey, we're not going to give her any money up front. We're just going to, you know what, offer her 5,000 up front and give her a full offer of 280, take over her loan of 100,000, and then see what she says, because we'll get some feedback on that one. Okay. But again, I'm sure that one probably won't work, but we want to get it some feedback. On the West Burns property, that's the one with no equity. I like this one actually, because I think we could just take this over sub 2, and then it all depends upon honestly, we could probably rent it out as is. And we just need to figure out, here's where I need to know the rent payment. Like, could you get somebody to rent to own this for $2,500? If you can get $2,500 and the payment's $1,800 or $1,700, this could make sense. Okay, and then we could just not put any money into it and wrap it. So this doesn't look like a bad wrap. And the good news is she doesn't have any equity, so us just taking over the loan doesn't hurt her. Okay, and then her last deal is probably the one I'm most skeptical on. I know that hard money company, so I would offer her basically just to take over her loan, which is in the amount of 200K. So I would just say, hey, we take over your loan. And you could let her know, we'll let her list it, and say you might make that in the notes that, hey, you can list it when we flip it. We'll go put in the money to flip it. We'll take over her Kiavi loan of 200K. And it's basically a subtail, they call this, or Subto Flip, where we go in, finish the flip, and then, and then we make the profit. She gets to list. So those are the 4 different offers. Judith on my team can help you out, but I want you to give it a shot to go in here. If you haven't, let me go to my Google Docs. Okay, so if we go to LOIs, okay, this is like the sub 2 template. I'm going to share this with you, and you can kind of go, again, you're putting in purchase price and all these. Give it a shot based on this video, and I'm gonna make sure I save this, but give it a shot based on all this. So I'm going to give it to Ernie. Okay, Ernie Trinos. Right, so send that. You'll be ready to go here. Okay, cool, man. So I think that